Hello dear students, this is continuation of the chapter organism and population. In this we have studied regarding all type of abiotic factors. So we have studied regarding temperature, light, soil, water. Now in this video we will be learning what is the response of the organism to the abiotic factors, which whether it is in a stressful condition, environment, what type of response does the organism gives, we will be studying in this video. So here I have put in 2 points, that is organism maintain a constant internal environment, that what we call it as homeostasis. Homeostasis despite very external environmental condition. Now in this picture you can see here the man is, a boy is sweating, here a boy is shivering. That means our internal body or the external body will try to change when there is a variation in the external environment, but still internal environment will be trying to maintain a constant motion, we can tell, so that all the metabolic activities takes place in a normal condition. So regarding homeostasis, means we can also refer the continuous flow of the blood also inside our body, which try to maintain the body, that what we call it as internal environment of the body. The organism which have a constant internal environment that permits all the biochemical reaction and usually physiological function to proceed with the maximum efficiency. For example, if we are completely freezed, what happened? Our blood will start becoming cold, means all the physiological function slowly it will stop. That is maybe circulation, digestion. So maintenance of the internal environment inside a body, we call it as homeostasis. When there is a variation in the internal environment, the organism develop many type of adaptation to suit the condition. Mostly they show phenotypic, then the genotypic changes. What do you mean by phenotypic changes? Mean, see, external changes may occur, then that of the genetic changes. So these are the some of the important response are being listed below to tell how the organism respond for both the change in the external environment and also in the internal environment. How the organism will maintain the constant internal environment of its body, varying with the temperature, might be light, might be, or the soil might be, or weather condition might be. Mainly regarding this only will be learned. So these are possible by the following process. So some of the important response, as I have told you, is regulate, confirm, migrate, suspend. Coming to the first response, that is regulate. Regulate or the regulators. Here, some organisms maintain constant body temperature, osmotic concentration by physiological or sometimes by their behavior, and thus maintain homeostasis. See, for example, ourselves. If we feel very cold, we try to wear the sweater. Why do we wear the sweater? That means inside we start shivering, mean due to the external environment to maintain our internal environment. ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇರೋ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಮೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ನ ಮೇಂಟೈನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಥವಾ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇರೋ ಆರ್ಗನ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ನ ಮೇಂಟೈನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಆಸ್ಮೋಟಿಕ್ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ನ ಆಪ್ಟಿಮಮ್ ಆಗಿ ಇಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಶಿವರಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. So when we shiver, what happens? Heat is created. So that heat which will probably maintain the homeostasis of our body also. So when we wear sweater, what happens? The heat of the body does not move out. Understanding, the heat of the body does not move out. For that only we wear the sweaters. So all the birds, mammals and a few other vertebrates are said to be the regulators. So what are the regulators? Means usually these are the organisms which maintain the constant body temperature and also osmotic concentration. They are called as a regulators. Okay, so all birds and mammals and few other vertebrates and invertebrate species show thermoregulation and osmoregulation to suit their environment where they live. So many mammals have the ability to maintain body temperature and thrive there, whether they are in Antarctica or in the Sahara deserts also. So usually when we consider here, see, the regulators ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, they try to maintain the internal environment, that is homeostasis is maintained in the regulators. So they constant body temperature, it ensures constant body temperature, the temperature will be constant, that is what we call it as thermoregulation. Constant osmotic concentration is called as osmoregulation. Osmoregulation means the pH level of the body, water content of the body is maintained. That's the meaning of osmoregulation. Example, all birds, this is what I told you, all birds and mammals, very few lower vertebrates and invertebrates come under this category of regulators. So, thermoregulation in mammals. See, the success of mammals is mainly due to their ability to maintain the constant body temperature. ಈಗ ನಾವು ಅಷ್ಟೇ ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇರೋ ಬಾಡಿ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಮೇಂಟೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕ್ಕೆ ಶಿವರಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಕೋಲ್ಡ್ ಸೀಸನಲ್ಲಿ. ಮತ್ತು ಬಾಡಿ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ರೈಸ್ ಆಗಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತ ಸಮ್ಮರಲ್ಲಿ ಬಾಡಿನ ಕೂಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋ ಕೆಲಸಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. So that what is the example is given here. See, in summer, when outside the temperature is more than the body temperature, that is 37 degrees our body temperature. If the temperature is more than our body temperature, sweating occurs. Sweating occurs means what? Our body becomes cool and maintain the internal temperature. Understood? So this results in the evaporative cooling and brings down body temperature. ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಸೊ ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿ ಥರ್ಮೋರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಇನ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಸಮ್ಮರ್ ಸೀಸನಲ್ಲಾಗಲಿ ವಿಂಟರ್ ಸೀಸನಲ್ಲಾಗಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ಸೀಸನಲ್ಲಾಗಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟರ್ನಲ್ ಎನ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಡಿಫರ್ ಆದ್ರೇನು ಇಂಟರ್ನಲ್ ಎನ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ನ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋ ಕಾರಣ ದ ಮ್ಯಾಮಲ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ವಿ ಆಲ್ ಕಮ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಟರ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ಲಿ, in winter, when the temperature is below 37 degree, I told you just now, is shivering occurs. It produces heat and raises the body temperature. So it will try to maintain 37 degree and try to maintain a constant homeostasis, that is constant internal environment is maintained, whether it is winter or it is summer. Next is in birds. Thermoregulation is energetically expensive, especially for some animals such as shrews, hummingbirds, etc. Shrews mean they are the aquatic animals. They have a very large surface area relative to their volume. So they lose body heat very fast when it is cold outside. Then they have to expand much energy to generate body heat. Therefore, very small animals are rare in polar region. Okay, so some of the shrews I told you, sorry, it is like the rat-like structures. I mean animals they are. So here thermoregulation is energetically. Thermoregulation is energetically means why in a polar region the animals are very rare. Very rare means an animal or a bird, it needs a large surface area, okay, to lose the body heat. So they very easily they lose their body heat very fast, and it is when it is cold outside. So as soon as they release the heat out of the body outside, the temperature inside their body will become very less. Again, to generate the heat, they need a lot of energy. ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ, ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಹಂಗೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಹೀಟನ್ನ ನಾವು ಅಷ್ಟು ಬೇಗ ಕೋಲ್ಡ್ ಸೀಸನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಸ್ಕೇಪ್ ಮಾಡಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಹಂಗಾಗಿ ಇಂಟರ್ನಲ್ ಎನ್ವೈರನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮೇಂಟೈನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಈ ಅನಿಮಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಬರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಗಳಿಗೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಒಂದ್ ವೇಳೆ ಅವರು ಕೋಲ್ಡ್ ಏರಿಯಾನಲ್ಲಿದ್ರೆ ಅವರು ಬೇಗ ಫಾಸ್ಟ್ಗೆ ಬಾಡಿನಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಅಷ್ಟು ಹೀಟನ್ನು ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಬಾಡಿ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಹೀಟ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಹಾಕ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವಕ್ಕೆ ಬಹಳ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಏನಂತಾರೆ, ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಅನಿಮಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ birds are very rare in polar regions. Okay, that is regarding. Second is conformers. So here this is a graph to explain the organism how it maintains its internal environment. versus with that of the external environment. So this here the regulators, this is the red line which is showing the regulators. What are regulators? Regulators or the organism which I have explained maintain the internal environment, whether there is any change in the external environment also, it will try to maintain its body's internal environment. So that what they are called as regulators. Coming to the conformers. Conformers, usually majority of organisms, that is nearly 99% of animals or nearly all plants, they cannot maintain a constant internal environment. Understand this word. So here what I told you, regulators can maintain the internal environment when there is any change in external environment. But here the plants, what are conformers means they cannot maintain the constant internal environment. So they are said to be conformers here. Their body temperature or the osmotic concentration. Osmotic concentration means that is the body fluids. Okay, the body fluids will change with that of the surrounding condition. They are known as conformers. Okay, now do you came to know the difference between the regulators and the conformers. That is why conformers, it is a green line which is drawn in between the graph showing that when there is change in the internal external environment, there is a change in the internal environment of its body. Okay, that is temperature, both the body temperature and also osmotic condition changes with that of the surrounding condition. So they are called as conformers. So coming to the aquatic animals. Aquatic animals of osmotic concentration of the body fluid changes with that of the ambient osmotic concentration. So here ambient osmotic concentration means the cold-blooded animals such as they are ectotherms. They change their body temperature to suit their surrounding temperature. But which are those animals? They are cold. In aquatic animals, what happens? Certain osmotic concentration of the body fluid will change with that of the osmotic concentration of the water. So osmotic concentration, if the water salt level increases, even the internal body temperature concentration, fluid concentration changes. If the salt level decreases, when usually the fishes move from the seabed to the river bed, there what happens? The salt level will decrease. At that moment, its internal environment, internal osmotic concentration also will get changed. That's what we call it as ambient osmotic concentration. So what do we understand? In the aquatic animal, osmotic concentration of the body fluid changes with that of the change in the osmotic concentration in the external environment. Ambient means both. If it might be increasing the salinity, decreasing salinity, or any other concentration changes outside its body. So accordingly, even its internal body concentration, that is temperature and also its body fluids concentration will change. So those are all are the examples for the conformers. So I think so you understood the difference between water, the two things, that is regulators and conformers. So what are regulators? Regulators are the organism which maintain their internal constant internal environment, though there is a change in the external environment. But conformers, they cannot maintain the constant internal environment. They change according to the change in the external environment. So both things is important. One is temperature, the other one is osmotic concentration. Thirdly, we are studying. This is also one of the response to abiotic factors. Here, many animals like birds move away temporarily from a stressful habitat. See the word stressful habitat to a more hospitable area. Hospitable area means hospitality. That does not mean hospital. Okay, that is a comfort zone. Okay, so comfort zone, another word we call it as hospitable area, and return when a stressful period is over. For example, in year only we can see an example, that is in Gokak also, usually in the winter season you can see many type of birds coming to the Dugdal, that is Ghataprabha Pakshidhamma. So bird sanctuary is there, Ghataprabha bird sanctuary is there, where we can see varieties of the birds coming in the winter season, and flying off during the summer season. That means what? They cannot get adjusted to the external environment if because their internal environment they cannot get it changed. So they maintain their internal environment. So they go for migration. So they migrate because their habitat becomes stressful. So when the stressful habitat is there, immediately they fly off from that place and move to a place where they find hospitable. Means the comfort is there, adjust to that weather. So they fly off there, and after the stressful period is over, again they come back. So example is here, one example which is given in your NCERT also. During winter, Kilo, Keolado National Park. So Keolado National Park is in Bharatpur, Rajasthan. The host migratory birds coming from Siberia and other extremely cold northern regions. So usually in this national park during winter we can see many Siberian cranes itself. Means due to the Siberian birds due to the stressful condition in the Siberia. So what they do, they merge to the northern region. So they come to the Rajasthan, that is Kilolad National Park. They come where they get settled there, and after the return of the summer, again they fly back to their places. So this is how they maintain their internal body temperature. So the next is suspend. So what is suspend? A different living organism tied over very low or very high temperature condition in various ways. Some of them are listed below here. So that is regarding the suspend. In bacteria, fungi and lower plants with the thick walled spores help to survive. So here they help to get survive in the unfavorable condition. Under suitable condition they germinate. See for example dormancy. Some seeds are said to be dried. So here what I have written, in higher plants seeds and some vegetative reproductive structure serve to the tide over periods to stress by the reducing their metabolic activity. They germinate under the favorable moisture and temperature. So now coming to the word seed. When we refer the word seed, we use the word dormancy, dormant. So dormancy is a period where the seeds will undergo metabolic activity will become slow. They will not develop. They will not reproduce. So that is called as a suspended period for the seeds. Some of the spores or some of the fungi might be here bacteria, fungi, lower plants. They will develop a thick wall. If this is an organism, you think a bacteria is this, and it does not want to reproduce in that condition, immediately it will form a wall around it like this, and it will rest in this condition until the favorable condition returns for it. So when the favorable condition return, that time it will open up this wall, and it will open up this wall and it will come out to germinate. So this also we call it as a suspension. So see here. So next in suspension only we do study hibernation, estivation, diapause. Now in animals these are all the examples. What do you mean by hibernation? Hibernation means winter sleep. Usually in a winter sleep it is a period of dormancy for some animals during winter. The cold-blooded animals like amphibians like the frog, reptiles that is wall lizard, and some warm-blooded animals like a bear, bat, ground squirrel, etc. They undergo hibernation where their body temperature, metabolic rate, and energy requirements are greatly reduced. At this time, they will sleep inside the burrows-like structure and take rest. They will not come out of that until the favorable condition comes. Then they will come out from the sleep. During that winter sleep, they are not going to reproduce. So development is also rare. Metabolic rate also is low in their body. So that's what we call it as winter sleep. Until the winter completes, it will not come out. So that is called as hibernation. Coming to estivation. Some of the animals, it is also period of dormancy during the summer season. to avoid summer related problems like heat might be, desiccation might be. It is commonly observed in some snails and fishes. Usually, these snails and fishes during summer, they will go for a summer sleep, and the metabolic rate will become, that is dormancy period means that what development will not occur, growth will not occur, they will not reproduce. After a suitable condition, that is after the summer season goes, again they will come after the summer sleep, then estivation is completed, then they start reproducing. Third one, this is a stage usually development is suspended in many zooplanktons. Zooplanktons means small organisms. They are very small organisms under the water, usually in lakes and ponds. They will suspend the growth and the development, and this suspension of morphological growth and development of this organism, we call it as diapause. So these are the three different words used in the suspension of the growth in animals. One is hibernation, which we call it as winter sleep, estivation, summer sleep, and diapause, that is suspension of the growth and development in an organism. The next is adaptation. Whenever we regard the word adaptation, it means adjustment of an organism by having certain morphological, physiological, or behavioral responses in a stressful habitat. Adaptation may be usually geographic, it might be genotypic, or also might be phenotypic. Genotypic adaptation occurs by the natural selections, and phenotypic adaptation involves non-genetic. The changes, physiological modification or behavioral changes occurs. Adaptation result in the formation of ecotypes. They are genetically adapted local population of species which differ from each other on the basis of morphological and physiological characteristic. So here also I have written adaptation is a morphological, physiological, and behavioral attribute. They enable an organism to survive and reproduce in its habitat. So here are the such a beautiful pictures. These are the example for adaptation. How the polar bear is adapted in the polar region. Here a lizard is adapted. Then Opentia is a desert animal. Sericane plant, how it get adapted in the desert condition. Then coming to the camel, see how the camel is got adjusted to the desert condition. Then the duck, see the duck also is swimming. It's off of his body is in the water, which tells that how it is get adapted in the water condition. So these are the different types of adaptation of the animals. They get adapted so that they survive in that area and they reproduce in the area. So they make the external environment according to its condition. So many adaptations are evolved over a long evolutionary time and are genetically fixed there. They cannot be changed. So suddenly you cannot bring the camel to the Antarctica region and make it to stay, because it drinks very less water, but it cannot bear that temperature. In the same way, polar bear cannot be brought to the desert because desert is very hot. It cannot survive. It needs a very cold climate. Adaptation of kangaroo rat in Northern American deserts. Usually, internal fat oxidation gives water as a byproduct if there is no external source of water. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಹೇಗೆ ಅದಕ್ಕದೇ ಅಡ್ಯಾಪ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ. See, internal fat oxidation. If the fat get digested, it will only give water, it seems. Water has a byproduct. Did you follow what I'm telling? ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡೆಸರ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀರ್ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. Kangaroo rat means they are the rat which are seen in the desert area. There is no water. How it will create water? See this animal how it is adapted. The fat will get oxidized. ಆ fat ಕರಗಿದ್ರೆ ನೀರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So water has a byproduct if there is no external source of water. So that how it survives over there. The ability to concentrate, it has an ability, it seems, to concentrate urine so that minimum volume of water is used to remove the excretory products, whereas we cannot survive in the extreme hot condition because our urine does not get concentrated. But see, the kangaroo rat, it has an ability to concentrate urine so that the minimum volume of water is used to remove the excretory products. And that how it survives. Which one? So kangaroo rat is also, we will be studying in the practical classes. There also I'll be studying the same adaptive characteristic of the kangaroo rat. Okay, so the how it that is the two main fat. One is it digests the fat, solubilize the fat, and it becomes the water. Second point is that it urine is concentrated, means automatically it does not need much of the water for removal of the excretory product. So these are the two important adaptive characters of the kangaroo rat. Next is adaptation of desert plants. So when we refer Opentia, see here, in the Opentia, there is a thick cuticle. When you cut the Opentia, you can see inside there will be succulent, gel-like substances will be existing there. Due to the presence of gel-like substances, transpiration is prevented. When the transpiration is prevented, automatically requirement of the water become less. That's what I have written. It has a thick cuticle on a leaf surface. It has a sunken stomata. What do you mean by sunken stomata? Means these are the stomata which will close in the sunlight, open in the dark. That is, during the night the stomata opens, during the daytime it closes. So it helps to minimize water loss through the transpiration. Then coming to the CAM. What is CAM? Crassulaceae acid metabolism photosynthetic pathway occurs in the xerophytic plants. So the desert plants are called as xerophytic plants because they require very less of water because the body has a gel. So transpiration, when it becomes less, means the water transpiring from the plant becomes less. And what is the photosynthesis occurs in its body? CAM photosynthetic pathway occurs where we tell in a CAM crassulaceae acid metabolism photosynthesis occurs, which enables their stomata to remain closed during the daytime and open during the night time. That what we call it as sunken stomata. So desert plant like Opentia have no leaves. So see, these leaves are being reduced, and the photosynthesis they are reduced in the form of spines, which will prevent transpiration. Photosynthesis is done by the stems also. Okay, so it does photosynthesis, that is, it is having stems only in the form of a thick, leafy, fleshy like structure, whereas the spines are modified spines which help in the reduction of the transpiration. Okay. Next, adaptation of the mammals. Mammals from colder climates have a shorter ears and limbs to reduce the heat loss. This is called as Allen's rule. So this question may arise for you in the examination. What is Allen's rule? So the mammals from the colder climates have what? These are the two important words. Shorter ears and limbs are reduced, shorter ears and limbs to reduce heat loss. Mean inside the body it will be having a heat that won't come out. Why it will not come out? So the it will reduce the heat loss. That what we call it as Allen rule. Here example we have taken a seal. See here, a part of the flesh of a seal is kept here to show you that a thick layer of fat. The fat we call it as blubber. So here blubber, okay, so you see blubber, this is the fat structure. See the inches, my God, such a fat, thick fat structure. From this fat, the heat cannot escape and come out, and this is the outer skin. So here it does not come out of the body. So it is not lost here. So it is inside the body to maintain its internal environment. So below their skin that acts as a, see, insulator and reduces the loss of body heat. Okay. So this how the mammals, that is aquatic, the seal or the aquatic mammals like seal survive in the very cold condition. And even polar bear also, when we tell, the below its skin it is also having a thick blubber. So with the thick blubber it is also able to maintain its body internal temperature so that heat is not lost out, and the fur also will make the body very hot. Next is, so this is a physiological and biochemical adaptation. For example, one is archaebacteria. You know, archaebacteria is called as a fossil bacteria which can exist in a hot springs and also deep hydrothermal vents where temperature is nearly how much it will be greater than 100 degrees Celsius. Archaebacteria, hot springs means what? If like what you tell, if you melt the iron rod and becomes a liquid, even in this liquid also archaebacteria will exist in such capacity it has. So that's why archaebacteria are said to be the one of the fossil bacteria which is existing, which can be found in hot springs also. So that is its survivability. Then many fishes thrive in Antarctica waters. Yes, they get adapted to such water below the 0 degrees Celsius. Then many marine invertebrates and fishes live in a great depths in the ocean where the pressure is greater than 100 times than the normal atmospheric pressure. That means what, these all are the animals, they are adapted to that particular habitat and they are living happily. Their development is not eradicated. The development growth is constant and they are able to survive over there. So this is anglerfish, a deep sea fishes. These fishes you cannot find in the river bed and all. So this anglerfish is a very deep fish which is found in a usually in the high pressure condition. Okay, so this is the photographs of the archaebacteria which can survive in the hot springs. Next, at the high altitude, usually this physiological and biochemical adaptation when we study high altitude, as soon as we hear this word, we remember what the people, the climbers, mount climbers. So, at an high altitude places where greater than 3,500 meter, we feel altitude sickness. What is altitude sickness? It is the symptoms of nausea, heart palpitation, ಫೆಟ್ಟಿಕ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬಹಳ ಬೆಟ್ಟದ ಮೇಲೆ ಹತ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಂಗೆ ಉಸಿರುಗಟ್ಟದಂಗೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So this all we call it as a altitude sickness. It is a symptoms of nausea, heart palpitation, fatigue. This is due to the low atmospheric pressure. So the body does not get enough oxygen. Gradually, we assimilate the situation and the body compensates very low oxygen availability by the increasing RBC and breathing rate and decreases the binding capacity of hemoglobin. Sometimes they may become heart attack and they may expire also. Why? Because the oxygen availability for affinity of the oxygen by taking affinity decreases in the RBC. So increases RBC and breathing rate and decreases the binding capacity of the hemoglobin. These are the main what you tell physiological or biochemical changes which occurs in a when the we move to the high altitude places, that is in the high mountains. So there also we find some of the organism and plants existing, means they get adapted to that type of environment and they try to maintain their both internal and external environment. The next is see, behavioral adaptation means usually animals will changes its behavior according to the temperature or according to the habitat. So, such as desert lizard. Desert lizard bask in the sun and observes the heat when their body temperature is low, but move into shade when the ambient temperature starts increasing. Means when there is a change in the temperature, they also get a changed with that. They change their behavior as the temperature start increasing. they move into shade when the ambient temperature start increasing. Means usually when the temperature is very less, they get into the soil, or they get into the some caves or in the thing. But when the temperature increases, immediately they come out, move into the shade when the ambient temperature start increasing. So here, desert is a bask in the sun and absorb the heat. Means when there is a cold, when the temperature is low, they move out to the sun. See this picture. They move out to the sun, show their body to the sunlight, and they absorb the heat. When the temperature is start too much increasing, they get hide themselves in the shade. So some species burrow into the soil to hide and escape from the above ground heat. This is normally we have seen in most of the organism. Even in the snake also, you know, if it is very hot, burning hot, means it will go and hide inside the ant hill. And if it is very cold, it will come out and take the heat itself, some of the organism. So that is the behavioral adaptation of some of the organism. According to that, they changes their behaviors and get adapted in the same place of habitat to reproduce. Okay. So this is regarding what children, both the adaptation and also response of the organism to the abiotic factors. Okay. We'll meet you in the next class. Thank you.